Ladies and gentlemen, boom. Normally we do a skit for the cold open, something funny, you say? But today I think I'll just introduce the video. This is about invisible barriers. Isn't that right, Sheena? Invisible barriers that we cannot see but keep us from fulfilling our full potential. This is the Pike Experiment. Enjoy. Boop.
Man, South by was crazy.
Yeah? Was it crazy?
Yeah. A little insane to me.
How was your South by experience?
Hot. Figuratively and literally and physically.
Physically? Like
Yeah.
intimately?
Yeah. Intimate in the intrapersonal way between people and I guess people and the environment. It's just heat everywhere.
Yeah, it was pretty hot there for a little. The first couple of days, not so much. I had a lot of fun going downtown and trolling people with my hand puppet.
Oh, that was you? I thought that was Ziggy.
Oh, it was Ziggy, but it's just my hand up his ass.
Oh.
You know, if you want to do an analogy for this, I was the source energy that gave him consciousness. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Ministry Podcast. For this episode, we are talking about Pike syndrome.
Pike syndrome.
There was experiment, the Pike Experiment, that was recently brought to both of our attention, and we thought it'd be an interesting topic for this episode, where basically it breaks down like this. There was a scientist way back in the day that put a pike fish into an aquarium tank and put a glass divider in between the fish and a school of minnows, being the natural food for the pike. And the pike kept slamming into the glass, trying to get to the minnows, but couldn't understand what this invisible barrier was. Now, given enough time, the interesting thing about the experiment is that the pike got so adapted to there being an invisible barrier there that they were able to lift the barrier and let the minnows swim freely, and the pike did not go after the minnows even though the barrier had clearly been lifted. And it was almost like the nervous system of the fish had been adapted and changed because of the trauma of going after those fish, to the point to where he didn't even want to go after them, even though they were swimming right by his mouth. And I thought that was really interesting concept, because there's so many analogies we can make within our own lives with invisible barriers that are keeping us from going after our goals and keeping us from, like leveling up, if you will.
Right. Yeah. Like the glass ceiling. But just like the Pike Experiment, that glass panel, or in the updated version, that open bottle, the glass ceiling is put there by people, so that does exist, and it's terrible, in all levels. Just to see the experiment in action, proves the glass ceiling hypothesis. But removing it also proves the why bother argument, because it was there. Well, it's not there now, but it was there.
Yeah, but even though it's been removed, it's still there in your mind.
It's still there in your mind.
Yeah,
especially the ones who've experienced it, and they're gonna pass on. Well, after the Pike Experiment, the pikes pass because they don't eat, so they can't pass on that information
right
into the DNA of their their generations afterwards. They can't do that. That trauma ends with them. Unfortunately and unfortunately.
Now we're kind of calling back to the last episode.
Right. Y'all need to check out that last episode.
Generational trauma.
Generational trauma. And it definitely ties in with the Pike Experiment because in people, the parallels of people, in most instances, people aren't just at the end of the Pike side of the experiment when the veil or the divider is lifted. Most people don't, pass on right like after that. They're like, oh man, I can't do anything because I was traumatized trying to get this thing. And now the way has been opened, they don't just pass on.
Right.
They chose not to. Instead, they say, well, I'm not going to try that again. And I'm going to tell other people not to try this again because this is what happened to me.
Right.
And I don't want that to happen to you, so don't do it.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing about this experiment that I find most interesting, actually, is the fit. They were able to, like, affect this fish's mentality. I'm sorry, my dog, y'all. So much so that the fish died from not eating.
Yeah.
Like he starved to death.
Yeah.
Because he was that traumatized from an invisible barrier that he did not want to further try and go after these fish.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very powerful when you think of it in the abstract. It's like the mentality that trauma holds, the mentality that trauma creates in a person that has become like a victim, more or less, of whatever that trauma, that onset, that trauma, is 100% self-preservation to the Pike experiments and to the detriment of what is being preserved. It's like, I'm not even going to try to eat this thing or try to eat anything now because pain, expended energy, now no food. The hierarchy of needs have just been disassembled in front of you. You can't do anything about it. So I guess the Pike's solution is to just surrender to the processes of life. But people can't necessarily do that. What they do instead, it is more like, oh, it's just a system. That's it. I'm not going to try to navigate this. Or they're going to just jump into it because this is how it's supposed to be, apparently. They're stuck in that cycle. It's like, I can't get out of it because of whatever such and such said I did at whatever time. So they go to jail. And they get out of the system. They're like incarcerated to get out of the system. And they only know the system. So they everything they do is like based on what they experienced within the system. And it's all terrible. We get it. And some people kind of sort of get out of it, but I don't think it ever really leaves anyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've actually met people that like would welcome going back to prison.
Right.
Because things are so much different out here versus in there that they just spend so much time in there that's what they're used to and that's what they are comfortable with. 3
squares a day, even though at ridiculous times and it's really bad food. You get guaranteed clothing, food, guaranteed opportunities, I should say, to sleep, recreational time.
I suppose you put somebody in any kind of environment and they'll adapt and to the point to where they get so wrapped up in like how everything is that change just like derails their entire world.
It messes people up.
Yeah.
It messes people up.
Yeah.
Like even so now let's now talk about, the prison system and our justice system. What about the military system we have, at least in America?
Yeah,
people
that's
who
true.
Go into the military
and the PTSD and then like they can hardly even live their lives. And this is just like the Pike Experiment.
It's just like the Pike
It's like the PTSD will not let that creature fend for itself.
Yeah.
The food is right there in front of him, just swimming right past, just right by the mouth. He can feel the fish brushing up against his face, yet he refuses to open his mouth and feed himself because he has got so much PTSD from hitting that piece of glass, that glass barrier, just not getting anywhere.
And I mean, I think it's also something to be said. Like the pike couldn't be cognizant that there was a physical barrier. It can't see that thing. So, yet there was something stopping it, but it was like, I would imagine that whatever it could reason was stopping it was supernatural. Like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, this has never happened before. And now it only happens.
Yeah.
Now it only happens. It's never happened before, and now it only happens. That's pretty terrifying. That's pretty terrifying. Someone comes back, segue to the military side, someone comes back from conflict, and they used to love fireworks, or, playing video games, or popping corks, like champagne and whatnot. They have a New Year's Eve party one day, can't do it no more.
Yeah.
All
Flip
of a sudden,
out.
they're right back where they were.
Yeah, having flashbacks to being in combat and
Can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't do it. And then it's like any sound like that can set it off.
And that's just one example of somebody being traumatized by an invisible barrier. And it's crazy how many applications I think that this actually fits into. Like, even with the people that you surround yourself with can be like, I keep using these quotation marks, but an invisible barrier. Like, like the friends that you keep around you, and like if you find yourself like growing to a point to where you're starting to sort of level up and outgrow your surroundings, you might find, you might find that some of your friends will become like naysayers and like, oh, you'll never achieve that, or like, how do you know that's gonna work out? It didn't work out for me when I tried it. Like you were saying earlier, sometimes somebody will tell you like, you can't do this, or like, I tried to do that, so why would it work for you? Like there's so many
try to discourage you from doing that.
Whatever
they've experienced.
And that in itself can be an invisible barrier for you to overcome, because it can be as simple as like not hanging out with somebody anymore. The barrier is lifted, but you still have that person's voice in the back of your mind telling you like, oh, you'll never make it, or oh, like, like all the bullshit that they've been feeding you over the past 5 or so years that you've been friends. Whatever happened and y'all went your separate ways, but you still have that person's voice nagging at you. That's the invisible barrier.
Yeah, it is an invisible barrier. Absolutely. That invisible barrier could manifest in your interpersonal communications with people.
Absolutely.
Once, like, let's say, like, you get in an elevated mood, be it a negative or positive, just an elevated mood. Now, whatever trauma that's associated with that mood, it's going to take hold of you. So let's say you're angry. So now maybe it's hard to reason with you when you're angry, because the invisible barrier is, I'm mad. No one's listening to me. So you're automatically assuming that no one is listening to you. So maybe that manifests as you yelling at people, not letting them finish any sentence because you feel like they didn't let you finish any of your sentences before. That could manifest in you being like physically outbursted, like pushing things and whatnot, because you feel like your voice is very weak. So you might be yelling, but you're doing a whole bunch of stuff around you.
It's a literal case of your own anger being the barrier.
Yeah, literal. Because whatever happened in your past, that's like formed around you. Like, this is what happens when you're mad. When you're mad, people aren't listening to you. That's what's making you mad. They're not listening. You know, so you have to get them to pay attention, but you can't talk to them. You have to get their attention some other way.
So you start talking at them. And
at them, being louder, being explosive.
And then they get frustrated, which makes you even more frustrated because you continuously have that feeling of they're not listening to me.
Yeah.
And then the barrier just gets more and more like concrete.
It's like it grows more and more.
Yeah.
And it'll never repair itself or dissolve until like there's a, hey, actually, like we got to break this thing down.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like these barriers, they're not meant to be concrete. They're invisible for a reason, because even though it feels like they're there, and they obviously is something blocking us from getting past the barrier, it's still invisible. You can take it away, and we might not realize that all it takes is just like stepping forward into something that is scary to us in order to break that barrier. And I feel like sometimes that like for your example with somebody who's like very angry and arguing with somebody, like sometimes just taking a step back and taking a deep breath and allowing yourself to really understand why you're feeling that way before you start yelling at somebody because you feel like they're not listening to you. Then maybe you can calm yourself to a level to where you can accept what they have to say about your situation, because you know that you never know, they probably are listening to you, but you're not letting them get any words out.
Words in, or out. There's no communication actually happening. It's just a lot of yelling, a lot of noise.
And it's hard to like deter your anger in certain situations. I know, trust me. But that's the barrier. And, the barrier is a fear-based thing. And I think that's what the core of this experiment is. It shows you how much fear and anxiety has a hold over a person or a fish in this case. Yeah. To the point to where you will literally starve yourself to death by like knowing that you will not go after what's right in front of you.
Right. I mean, anger is a very easy thing. You could attribute any emotion to it, though. As humans experience any emotion to it. Extreme sadness. No, not even extreme. Just sadness, or grief, or joy, or some people have some interesting traumas associated with these experiences and their emotions. Some people are extremely happy, don't want to share that. If they have good things happen with them, they shut down. No, this is mine. I'm not going to share my good energy. It's not going to come out. Someone who's sad, who probably doesn't want to be alone, fears being ostracized because they're sad. A lot of people don't want to be around other people who are like sad, And I've had this is a segue. I've had a discussion with someone, a stranger, out in the world, and this topic came up in another fashion of like sad people in public spaces, and they were like, so why are they even out? And like they should be sad, where they can be sad in private, and I countered with, well, if they're an adult, so I'm assuming their emotive state is likely secondary to their goal. So if they're sad and they're outside, I would assume they want to express that emotion and release that sadness. They don't want to keep that sadness with them.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's what I think. And in my practice, because I practice what I preach, I've asked people who look like down or whatever, say, hey, you good? Do you need someone to be around you, with you right now, or you want to be cool what you're doing? Because some people want to be cool what they're doing. Like sometimes I get sad, I go out in nature and I just want to hug on a tree. I don't want to talk to no other person. I just want to hug on a tree. It's not
Yeah, some people will freak out on you for talking to them too, man. I've had
Exactly.
that happen to me before.
Don't talk to me. What?
Yeah.
I don't know you.
Yeah.
We don't know anyone.
I'll give you a real world example where I remember this like it was very clear in my memory, but it was something that happened when I was a child. I was with my family and we were vacationing by up north, but to get there we drove through Louisiana and we were in New Orleans.
Okay.
And we were kind of just like, stopping to see the sights a little bit and walk around. And we didn't do, I mean, of course, I was a kid, so we didn't do the classic get drunk on Bourbon Street thing. But I remember my dad, like, he saw that somebody had a San Francisco 49ers hat on, and he was a fan, like, of that team, like, because I think at the time the Oilers had already left Houston.
Texas, yeah.
And so he goes, "Hey man, nice hat." And the guy like freaked out on him, like he's like, "Fuck you, man!" He started like cussing at him. He's like, "I'm not." He started telling my dad, like, if I remember correctly, the guy told my dad, he's like, "I'm not gay. I don't do that." Like, it's so ridiculous. But all my dad did was said, "Hey man, I like your hat." And I remember that to this day. Because it was so dramatic.
That's a crazy crash out.
It was so dramatic. Yeah. Like, what?
Maybe that guy received a compliment before that was like about his hat, and it like messed him up somehow. It was like a lead-in to something else.
Yeah.
So he reacted so terribly.
Well, speaking of lead-ins to something else, let's pause for a second.
Oh, yeah.
I got an artist from Houston, actually, where I grew up, very near where I grew up.
That's cool.
Part of my same kind of neighborhood, actually. His name is Sanch Vamps. He's doing some really cool stuff. Just had an album released at the end of last year, I believe.
Music artist.
Yeah, he's a rapper.
Nice.
He's actually very talented. Yeah. So we'll cut to Hyde Love, or Gore Pimp, quote unquote.
Okay,
I'm Hyde Love.
Gore Pimp.
He's Gore Pimp. Yeah.
Okay. Gore Pimp.
I got so many characters and things going on right now. It's hard to remember who is who.
Sometimes
split personality disorder.
All the hats get put on at the same time.
So yeah, let's go to the interview and check that out. I hope you enjoy.
Okay, Gore Pimp.
All right. What changed my whole perspective is instead of focusing on what I don't have and what I lack, I look at everything, and I know this is cliche, but I look at everything that I do have, and I am the utmost grateful, even for the smallest blessings that I receive. I stopped chasing a long time ago, bro. You know what I'm saying? Once I realized that you really can't chase for nothing in this world. You have to just let things happen for you naturally. Because when things happen for you naturally and it comes to you easily, that's how you know it was meant for you. Despite anything you may be facing, any difficulties that you may be going through in your life right now, life is still beautiful. There's still so much beauty left in this life and in this world. Can I blame my downfall on my upbringing? So tired and stressed, I had enough dreaming. Seems like this life of mine is headed to an end. Why nobody keeps it real, they all wanna pretend. Never knew what love is, but I know what a grudge is. Hard to smile at these times when these times are the roughest. Hey everyone, it's your boy Hyde Love. We're here with Sanch Vamps from Houston, Texas. An old friend of mine from back in the day. He's doing his thing. He just got a album released a few months ago called Revamped. Why don't you start off by telling us about this project and how it came to be? Man, it's crazy. The majority of these songs were written like probably starting like 2012. Like a lot of these songs were written years ago, man. And I had been sitting on them. They've been released here and there, but I've been sitting on them pretty much for like over 10 years or something. So I'm kind of just revamp it, touch it up, put it back out. You know, I feel like it's old music to me, but it's new for other people, you know.
So that's why the name Revamped for the album.
Yeah, exactly.
Sort of revisiting old stuff and like making it
Yeah,
All
and
right.
the last song I recorded for it is the last song, the title track, "Revamped." And I think it was proper, because it's just it also details like what I'm going through in life, so it's pretty cool, man. It's cool how it all kind of how it worked out, It's
Yeah,
a
I like
journey.
the overall theme of everything. You touch on some really cool stuff, like with struggles with addiction and things like that, which are hit to my heart because I have my own struggles in the past with that.
Right.
You seem to have an overall pretty positive message, and I really like that.
Yeah,
The
I
you,
appreciate it. It starts out negative. I think the first song, "Pretty Ugly," is pretty negative,
yeah,
negative self talk. But as it progresses, the last song being revamped, it kind of changes everything.
yeah, that's the kind of vibe I got from the overall theme when I was listening to it. It's kind of like as each track goes, there's a certain amount of growth that's happening while you're listening to it, if that makes
It,
sense.
it reflects my life so much, man. Everything that's been going on with me, everything that's been happening, just growth, man. And I'm proud. I can say I'm proud of myself, just growing every year a little bit. I still got my ways, but
Yeah, we all have things we need to work on, you know?
yeah,
It's
as
it's
long as
a
you're
it's a
trying.
never-ending process.
Yeah, as long as you're putting in the work and trying just a little bit, I
That's
believe
what
it'll
matters,
work
man.
out. It'll
Yeah,
work.
so I want to touch on your YouTube channel that you started recently too, because you've
Oh,
been
yeah.
putting some pretty good messages out there for people to hear, and I don't think enough people are listening to that. Uh,
Yeah, it's new. I just started it like a month ago, less than a month ago. I don't know. I just felt like doing it, man. I was like, I've never. I don't feel like I feel like if you keep it all, if you have a positive message, I feel like you should share it. I think you're obligated to share it. If you have a story of healing and overcoming, I think you're obligated to share that, man, because you never know who's watching. You may not, impact the masses. It may just be one person.
yeah, I
That one.
100% agree. I mean, even if
Right,
the message, like, it doesn't really matter how positive or negative the message is, sometimes that could be exactly what somebody needs to hear,
right,
and
right.
it's
So a lot
important
of
to
a
tell
lot
your
of my
story.
videos are just spontaneous. I'll just grab my phone and just record it. I actually have a lot of videos in my phone where I'm just saying something positive. So now it's just going back, and I mean, because I did it for me a lot of the times, so I could go back and watch my own shit. But yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna put it out there, man. Maybe somebody will get inspired by it, maybe not. It's all good, either way.
Yeah, well, I can tell you, as somebody who's kind of been watching you from behind the scenes for a little while, and it's been years since we have actually had a face-to-face conversation like this. I can see you've been growing a lot, and
Yeah.
some of the stuff you've been putting out on your YouTube and on your Instagram, like it speaks to me. So I know it's going to speak to somebody else. Hence why we're doing this. I want to put you out there and make sure that as many people can reach your messages and your story as possible because I want to help that grow.
Right. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So one of the things I wanted to ask you about the name Sanch Vamps.
Mhm.
What was the inspiration behind that name? Because that's very interesting.
Sanchez is my last name.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
And then Vamps, it used to stand for Vampire Life. And this is like 2014, 2015 when I thought of the name. People weren't really on that vamp shit as much as they are now. Like it's like everywhere now, like vamp life. But like I just wanted to give it a different
Vamp
meaning.
life.
Vamp life. I'm like, but I thought of that years ago. So to me, the name got kind of corny. So I was like, I need to change this up, and just revamp popped in my head. So I was like, yo, revamp. That's what it's short for now. Everything, just making everything new. I'm a new
Yeah, yeah.
artist, new everything. So that's basically the meaning. Revamped. Sanch Vamps, standing for Sanchez, and
That's
it's
what's up,
following
man.
Sanchez because it's revamping everything.
Yeah, it's kind of funny how everything sort of comes together like that. The name of the
Yeah.
album, Revamped, revisiting all the other old stuff and kind of making it into a new project for yourself with
Mhm.
name you had and coming together as far as like a cohesive project goes. I think it's kind of cool how sometimes circling back to something you started years ago can result in something fresh and new
Mhm.
that you didn't even think about way back then.
Everything goes in circles, man. Kind of like
Yeah.
the Germs logo. Things in circles, man.
Rest in peace, Darby.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So like I'm gonna tell everybody like to go check out the album. It's called Revamped. It's
Mhm.
on all the streaming platforms. I've already listened to it several times. It's really good. My two favorite tracks, Breakfast. Great
Oh,
track. I
breakfast.
love the beat on that. There's like a little soul breakdown and kind of in the beginning.
Yeah.
That yeah, immediately I was like, oh, that's who did that?
It's the most random shit.
Yeah, yeah, but it's cool, man. And then the title track, of course, Revamped.
Mhm.
Um, it's a good track, man. It's a great track. I'm gonna play a little bit after the interview, for people to hear. And we'll link to everything in the video too. But yeah, like while I got you here, is there anything else like you've been working on you want to plug?
Oh shit. Man, I think I'm working on a new mixtape. I say
Okay.
because I don't know, I've been throwing them little demos out there,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few
I've been
days.
seeing those little hints on Instagram that you've been posting on some new
Been
stuff.
more towards like traditional hip hop. My music just kind of moves with life, man, and whatever the sound is, that's what it is. Like on this album, I have like almost like a punk type of sound on
Yeah,
one of the
what is
music
that track? Shife, I think, where they have oh no, the Nuisance.
nuisance. Yeah.
Nuisance is the one with that beat. Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a couple songs like that. They're not even out. So I don't know. I kind of moving more towards that and then more towards the traditional hip hop. And I like that boom bap shit, that old school shit, that soul shit. I feel like that's where music is going back to. Hip hop, I think. It's gonna go back to that sound. I
Yeah,
think
definitely.
people are getting tired of the same sounds, man. The 808s and the fast hi-hats, like it's just kind of getting played out in a way. It's the
Yeah,
same.
man, there's something to be said about somebody who's just doing their own thing independently because
Yeah.
that's where the real hip hop comes from. That's where the real music comes from. And like what one of the things I like about what you're doing is it's very real and down to earth and honest. And there's so
Yeah.
much hip hop out there that's just it's all I mean, for lack of a better word, it's all bullshit, you know? It's like it has a good beat, but there's no substance to like the
Yeah, man,
lyrical
it's
content.
substance, and I get it.
Yeah.
If you're like 16, 17, you're just going for what sells. You haven't really
Yeah, yeah.
your artistry yet. So I get it, but I'm kind of older now, so I can't be rapping about what these young boys rap about. That's not me, first of all. Maybe when I was younger, I was on that wild shit, but my life is like it's kind of calm now, compared to what it used to be, you
But
know.
honestly, like even the stuff you were putting out back in the day that I remember, it still had a little bit more to say than some of these other cats did.
Always came from a deep place, because I mean, I didn't start out doing music for people. Like I did it for me, I did it for like a personal journey. I mean, a journal, it was like a diary. So even like sharing my music, even still to this day, it's still kind of weird, especially if I'm in the room, because it's just like here, like listen to my problems or listen to my
Yeah,
life, you know.
yeah.
Weird, but it's cool. It's very revealing. My music reveals a lot about me. I don't know if that's good or bad.
I
We'll
think
see.
it's great. You know, like you're putting yourself out there, and it's a scary thing to do for people to like reveal something that's so dear to themselves, especially amongst friends. Because
Yeah, yeah,
one of the things I've realized is that like you could have like your closest friend next to you for like years, and you can share a project with them. They won't listen to it because they already
yeah,
know you.
man.
They know you well enough to be like, oh yeah, he's doing his thing, yeah, cool, but they're probably not gonna take the time to hit play.
It's actually a painful thing, man, because and that's for anybody trying to do this. You have to realize that like the support most likely isn't going to come from people that you know personally, your
Yeah,
family, friends.
yeah. Surprisingly enough, that's very true.
It's going to be somebody who never met you before in real life, somebody you probably will never meet in real life. That's where you will get the most support. I guess it's because people that know you can't see you being that. They can't see you being greater than what you are. It's like, oh, bitch, I
Yeah,
know you.
And
Like,
also, it's like I feel like there's a part of it that's like, your close friends don't want to acknowledge that you're doing your thing because it like subconsciously kind of fucks with their ego a little bit, and they
right.
don't want to just like open that door and be like, "Oh, my boy, he's doing his thing," but like I'm not doing anything. So
Yeah.
like, yeah. So to an extent, it's understandable, but if you're watching this and you're out there and you got a friend who's putting out some art, support him, listen to his
Appreciate
music,
it, man.
like hit the like button, share his shit with your friends, like do something.
Yeah, it's free to share, man. Just show a little tiny support. It's painful. I ain't gonna lie. That shit be hurting me sometimes. Like, fuck, yo. Or I got like, I ain't gonna say that. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that. I gotta be humble. I'm not gonna say
uh,
because they make
yeah, man.
and whatever. Yeah, it's kind of painful. It is kind of painful, but it just comes with it, man. It comes with it, I guess. When
Yeah,
you
I
do
mean, if
anything
you're
that's out of the ordinary, you should expect a lot of heartache because you're putting so much into it and you're not getting anything back, really.
Yeah, and like you said, it's almost always not from the people you would expect, like your close friends, your family. Your family might be listening, and of course, like mom and pops are gonna give you the thumbs up if they support you and all that stuff. But it's not the same as when you're putting something out there and you really want feedback from somebody that you can relate to, like a good friend or I mean, even just somebody random just coming up to you and saying, "Hey, like that song really spoke to me," blah blah blah. And it means the world to you as an artist that you touched
Yeah,
somebody. So
that's
it's
why you gotta
important.
just come from your heart, man. Just make music from your heart, put it out, and you gotta just not give a fuck. Whatever, if y'all like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. It came from my heart. I like it. I'm my favorite rapper.
Hell yeah.
You have to be like your favorite artist. I am my favorite rapper.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not digging your own stuff, then like, what the fuck are you doing?
For real. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
you have to sit with your own music. You got to memorize it, learn it. So you have to be your favorite artist, your favorite anything, your favorite YouTuber, your favorite art painter, anything.
Yeah, it's all about having fun and sharing the love, man.
That's the thing, fun.
Yeah.
That's the main thing. You can't lose the fun in this shit. Like, it stopped being fun a couple years ago because I was like, damn, like, how are people gonna perceive this? How are they gonna take this? And they stopped. That's what made it stop being fun. I was then
Yeah.
it's how much money it costs. Like, oh, I gotta get this. I gotta pay for this. Just block that shit out, man.
Yeah, that's a fear mindset that I feel like a lot of people fall into whenever
Yeah,
they're diving deep in within themselves and writing something that's very personal. Like a lot, I have a lot of stuff that I've started and I never finished that I never released. Maybe I'll do that. I'll revisit a few things and put some of those out there. But I
yeah,
definitely know how hard it can be to write something that's so personal and deep to what you're going through and not want to release it because of that because you're
yeah,
afraid of like what somebody might think of you or you might change the opinion of somebody who's close to you or something similar like that. You just don't know how people are going to react.
yeah. Especially when talking about like being suicidal and then talking about being molested. Like, that's a very like touchy subject, and it's hard to reveal that to certain people. So when they hear
Yeah.
that, they're gonna ask you, "Oh, what are you talking about with this?" Now, the story has to come. So, oh,
Yeah. But at the same time, as an artist, like I feel like personally, we almost have a responsibility to put our art out there for
mhm.
people to see and for them to heal.
Right, right. It's an obligation, man. The story was given to you to share. You know,
Exactly.
your pain isn't yours. You know, it was
Yeah,
just you grew on and just move it to the side and help somebody else out. I think people are losing sight of that, man. People don't want to help nobody no more. It's like we're becoming more selfish.
definitely.
It's kind of lame, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, I think people as a whole are starting to break out of that. I'm meeting more and more people like myself that we're just sort of becoming more open to our connection with everyone and just figuring out a way to uplift the people around us to make our community a better place to live in. And I think that's where it starts, sharing our story, getting other people's story out there to uplift them and uplift the community and just basically show that there are other people out there like us that are doing our thing, trying to spread a positive message that we've been through some shit, we've seen some shit, and it's time for other people to hear and see what we've been through so that
Right.
they can start their journey.
And then they help out the next person, you know.
Exactly. And it
Down the road.
snowballs.
Yeah, it just keeps going, man. But yeah, you just got to come from your heart, man. It's come from your soul, and it is what it is. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. You know, you can't put too much pressure on yourself because what's meant to be will be. You know, whatever. We're all gonna die one day, so enjoy life. You know, even if my
Yeah.
music never works out, it's cool. You know, it's fine. It just wasn't. It wasn't meant. You know, it wasn't meant to be.
Yeah. The
Who
point
knows?
of life is to live life.
40 years from now, somebody may pick that shit up and it'll blow up 40 years from now.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I hold that true to my heart because there's so many like albums that I've found just randomly that I know, like when I go to the record store and I'm like thumbing through and I pick something random that I know no one knows what the fuck this is,
mhm.
but I'll go and put it on the turntable and listen to it. I'm like, this is awesome. Why?
Crazy,
Yeah.
man.
And it speaks to me and I'm just like,
Yeah,
wow, it's this thing that somebody made like 40 years ago that nobody knows what it is now in my own hands and I'm listening to it and I'm getting something out of it.
like
It makes
that
me
group,
feel good about what I'm doing.
that rock group Death. You've heard of them,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I know the band, the one from Detroit, right? Not the
Yeah,
death metal band.
yeah, the one from Detroit. Dude, their
Yeah,
story is amazing.
right,
Like,
right. Yeah,
that's
I highly recommend. There's a documentary called A Band Called Death. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. Great
right.
story.
Yeah, I
But
gotta
yeah,
head
this
there.
nice. Yeah, I got their I think actually I have check this out. Yeah, I do, right here. But yeah.
Oh, dude, that's badass.
Great
Hell yeah.
band.
Yeah,
Great
definitely.
story.
Yeah.
This band from
Crazy.
Detroit that just happened to record a bunch of stuff and didn't go nowhere. And then, what was it? The 45 little 7-inch single started
Yeah.
making its way around the community, and people were like, "What the hell is this band that we
Yeah,
didn't know was
man.
there?" And
Just
now they're
wild.
just all over the place.
Wild. And he like kind of prophesized that shit. The
For real.
singer David. Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Yeah, go check out that story if you guys haven't checked it out. It's a great
Music is
film.
powerful, man. Music is beautiful. It's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. And on that note, I guess we'll close things out with the interview. Sanch Vamps. The album is called Revamped. We'll play a
Mhm.
little bit from the album here after things close out. And thank you very much for taking some time out of your day and visiting with
Brother,
me
thank
and
you for having me.
sharing some of your art, man.
Appreciate you. Appreciate you for having me, man. And good luck with everything that you're doing. You know, I'm watching you. I'm looking at. I see
Yeah, I appreciate
you.
that, man. Hell yeah.
Much respect. Always much respect to you, brother.
Got a fucking headache, bitch. What? So why you always talking? Nagging in my earlobe, but all I hear is barking. Can't afford to take a loss, this my last L. On that 666 shit, like come with me to hell. Murder all your memory and learn to forget. Stand and talk through everything, the pain ain't over yet. Motherfuckers praying, probably hoping that I slip. It's just me against the world, steady sleeping with a grip. Move back, bitch, get fucked. If I take another loss, then it's up. If I put in all my pain, that's the nearest one. Probably wanna let up to the day and all the devil's gone.
All right. Part 2.
Welcome back.
I know you guys are digging on my baby girl Sheena. Ain't she a cutie?
She's truly the star. Truly the star.
So yeah, the Pike Experiment. Let's try to unfold this a little bit further and go a little bit deeper. Let's. Do you have any real world examples you can think of that?
Yeah. Most recently, at work, at one of the places I work at, I witnessed a Pike Experiment like event take place.
Okay.
And it was like an interpersonal communication situation. So the food was voicing grievances, and the Pike is one of my coworkers.
So your coworker was having trouble voicing
Grievances.
their grievances,
Yes.
and the barrier was being able to voice them.
The barrier was their own frustration. So their mood stayed. And I say this because they said it. They said, when I get like this, XYZ. They said it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, okay.
I actually know a lot of people from my past that are very similar in nature.
I'm like, wow.
Like, man, when I get worked up, you don't want to see me when I get worked up.
Now it worked out. I'm like, wow. You created the rules. You created the problem, the rules, and the solution.
Yeah.
And somehow you're at the core of all of it. But it happened in real time, and I didn't recognize it as the Pike, the Pike effect, the Pike syndrome. And when that, in the moment, I just thought it was very interesting that they expressed that this is now the rules of engagement. You know?
So this person literally like put themselves into a box of sorts
Yes.
by defining in their own mind what the rules are for when this situation arises.
Yep.
That's insane.
It's insane. And
I mean, the definition of it, we all know the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That is literal insanity.
Yeah. So the situation conflagrates from just a vocal outburst to a very physical outburst. I was trying to smooth my previous examples into this, because that's what I witnessed. I witnessed this happening, and they walked out the kitchen area, and their issues with another employee, but I've attempted to bridge that communication gap, but they never would want to bridge it. And it's always out of work stuff, never in work stuff.
You were trying to lift the barrier.
Trying to lift the barrier,
Yeah.
We can talk about this. Here's how we can do it. And it's just no. You're gonna defend them. You don't want to see my side. Blah blah. I was like, I could 100% validate your aims right now, because not only are you in a capitalist mindset, not only are you on the clock not doing your job, you're on the clock making me not do my job. We're already in a boiling pot of sorts with the owners, because we're staying too late to clean up their restaurant, because we stay open later because they want to. It's a big boiling hot pot of things that really don't work well together all at the same time. So that's happening. So if we can't communicate, we can just call it a night right here. You go home and we can finish, and that'll be it. We'll see you next week. We don't actually have to continue this exchange for real. Because as they say, shit rolls downhill. But when I get like this, crazy. And so it conflagrated, and other employees were scared. So that created a barrier within them, because this employee has been in the penal system. So that was already that's like a costume like people get. When you get out of the system and people know it, you get a little costume put on. I don't care.
A
If you're
costume
wearing a
with big red letters that says institutionalized.
Yeah. Fear me, bad guy, bad lady, bad person, monster, whatever.
The scarlet letter, if you will.
Exactly. It's the same concept. 100% same concept. Definitely the same effect. So now, even though that individual's had like really great work ethic, really great work rapport, really great outside of the situation that was created, very good interpersonal communication with everyone else. Because they're at this level and reacting this way, that scarlet letter is neon. They want nothing.
It's
to do
glowing.
with this. They want nothing to do with this person now. Nothing. No, you have to leave. No, you got to get out of here. Do I need to call the police? And then that triggers.
Oh my gosh.
Call the police.
Yeah.
Go ahead, call the police. There's
Yeah.
something to get done. Because in that person's mind, when the police show up, then a solution is formed. Mm-hmm. It might not be the solution that's best for them, but a solution does happen. If they felt like they weren't being heard, well, they're going to get to talk because officers are there now. And it was crazy because after got everybody separated, got this person out of the building, all right?
This is
calming down.
Wild, dude. This happened to you at work recently?
Yesterday.
Wow.
Yesterday. Right after I've separated everybody, I gave the individual who blew up a cigarette, and they were calming down. Don't abuse drugs to control your emotional states. But anyway, they were calming down, and then they said, I shouldn't have did that. I can't really even talk to anyone after that right now. It was like, no, you can't. Like, they're terrified. Like, they can't, like deer in headlights frozen.
Yeah,
Terrified.
yeah. Good luck showing up to your next shift.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. And then that started to frustrate them. So they start to like revert back into like, man, like, I just want to go in there and say I'm sorry. And I was, no, you can't do that. At least especially right now. Like, you're not listening to me, man. Like, I'm the only person out here. Only person having a conversation with you. This makes no sense.
The glass just gets thicker and thicker.
It makes no sense. And that I think that institutionalized mindset, that's why the American justice system, specifically because I'm American, I should say the Western, just doesn't work because of that experience. That example, the Pike syndrome.
It's a good example. It's a good example.
I've never, ever, and I've been in a lot of arguments, and I've seen a lot of arguments, seen a lot of fights, and all this. I've never seen someone say, I'm about to go Super Saiyan, and when I'm Super Saiyan, I am uncontrollable, I can't comprehend reason, and I have ultimate power, and then go Super Saiyan. You don't want me to go Super Saiyan. Like, okay, we don't want that to happen. Too late. All right.
Shout out to all the Dragon Ball Z fans.
Shout out.
I'm surprised I actually got that.
Yeah, good.
Because I don't watch Dragon Ball Z.
It's just a power up, they scream really loud and they get stronger somehow. Eye color, hair color change. And I was like, wow, really?
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's a very clear example of something like of somebody literally putting up their own barrier within their own mind that causes an explosive reaction that's to the point to where like they're putting themselves at a point in their lives where everything just kind of shuts down almost.
Right. Now, like, imagine, like, just like the Pike Experiment, because the glass was there. Imagine, like, every one of the instances of that individual being frustrated with someone else, and they attempted to say something, and it just went in the completely wrong direction. You know, it's like I can only reason that is how that happens. Positive reinforcement and negative reinforcement. Like, it's the only way that happens. It's like, hey, actually, I want to talk to you about, and then it's like, get the hell away from me, and maybe it's a scuffle, like whatever.
Get the hell away from me and have a butterscotch candy.
And have a butterscotch candy. I'm allergic to butterscotch. You know, it's like, here's a flake of a peanut, tree allergy. Like, whatever. These allergies are serious, man.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it was very surprising. And when you sent, after it all calmed down, you sent me that message, and I was like, "This is."
What about the Pike Experiment?
Yeah,
that's it. That's how you know we're aligned, because I will literally send him an experiment, a message with a video about this experiment, and it just exactly lines up with something that's happening in real life.
It's like, oh, this just went down.
Yeah. That's when we're like, all right, yeah, we're making this episode.
Yeah, very fresh.
Seriously. But, I mean, I think it's important to think about these things. I mean, like, how many times have you stopped yourself from pursuing something because like you saw a video about something going wrong or something, like, I mean, off the top of my head, like the recent plane crash that happened as of, I think that happened earlier last night? At the time of filming the tragedy of the Canadian plane crash, like, if somebody sees that and then all of a sudden they put themselves into a bubble where they have their own invisible barrier of not ever wanting to get on an airplane, like, that's just like a small example, or not pursuing something that you find to be joyful because you're afraid of it not being successful, or even afraid of being successful.
Yeah, afraid of being successful. That's
it's all these different ways you can apply this. It's very interesting how one experiment can make you think about so many different aspects and so many different things in your life that will give you perspective on all of the ways that we halt ourselves from our own growth.
Yeah, it's mostly fear. Mostly fear.
Yeah, absolutely fear-based.
Fear-based. We're some self-preservationist masochists.
I think that at the core of this experiment, that's what it is. It's all fear-based. I mean, how many times are you going to bang your head against the wall trying to get to the other side before you just give up?
Right.
And then when somebody opens the door, you're like, oh, I'm too tired.
I'm not even walking through there. You think I'm crazy? You think I'm silly?
I've been trying to walk through there this whole entire time, and look what it did to my face.
Right. Look at me now. Look what's happened to me now. I can't walk through there. I'm not going over there. This is a trick. You want to see me hurt myself again. That's what a lot of people think stuff like that. Shame, pride.
Hey. Sheena.
Destroying that toy.
Chill out. You okay? Sorry, guys.
You need some water?
Go get you some water. Go on.
The water's not over there.
She's going to come right back onto the couch. Yep.
Sheena.
Well, I guess that about wraps it up for this topic. I mean,
Pike syndrome.
unless you have anything else you want to say on this subject?
Well, we have to be aware of the type of barriers we put up around this.
Definitely.
And aware the type of barriers that we should work on dissolving, taking down. And it doesn't have to be quick, it doesn't have to be pretty, but it does have to happen.
Yeah, and it's not going to be easy.
Oh, absolutely
Yeah.
not.
It's never easy, but it's worth it. It's worth it. Ain't that right, Sheena? So, this is a pretty chill episode. How y'all like the new backdrop? I got some plants here.
Yeah,
We got
more
the fern.
plants. I really like the plants, personally. I'm a plant guy.
You guys are going to watch everything grow with us. As we grow, this will grow. Everything grows. You grow because you're watching this.
Yeah. Should put some.
You do what we do. Practice what we preach.
Practice what we preach.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And on that note, I am one.
You
are two. See you next time.
See you next time.
Bye-bye. Say bye, Sheena. Bye-bye.
Sheena.
Good one.